What is going on? It is Nate the Game Guy coming back with another video at hand, and today I want to talk to you guys and share with you guys games that I wish I picked up a very long time ago because now they are super expensive. All these games that I'm about to name drop I do not have right here in the collection, but man, did I miss out back when the prices were cheap. Now, of course, with these games that I'm about to show you, I'm not going to rank them in any order whatsoever. I'm not going to show you which one's the most expensive to the least expensive or the worst to the best. These are just games that I'm just going to throw in and tell you guys that, hey, I certainly missed out on picking these up a very long time ago. So without further ado, let's dive right into this video subject. Take a look at some games that I missed out picking up back when they were cheaper, right after the intro. Now I'm going to start this video off by talking about this Sega Saturn title right here, and that is Burning Rangers. I remember when this game used to be $150 complete in box. And just before I started to record this video, I did some price checking online, and I have to say it has gone up quite a bit since it was $150 back when I first had interest in it. This game is now about $600 to $800 complete in box if you want to buy the game either online or at your local retro game store. Now, unfortunately, the reason why I didn't pick this up was because at the time I was preoccupied by other games that were coming out at the time, and I kind of procrastinated and I was like, oh, I'll pick this up later. I'll pick this up later. I'll pick this up later, right? And unfortunately, as the years have gone by, this isn't really a cheap game anymore. Yeah, for a game that's $600 to $800, I mean, I hate to say it, but I'm gonna have to wait still on picking up that title. But, you know, I have watched some gameplay footage of it, and it looks like a pretty solid title. From some of the people that I've spoke to over the years, I've heard that it is a relatively short game, but that's okay. As long as it's fun, that's what matters. But considering this is also a game from a console that I wouldn't mind having a complete set for one day, it's probably pretty inevitable that I will pick this title up someday. Now the next title that I want to talk about is Godzilla on the PS4. I remember when this game first came out 10 years ago, and when I first saw it, I didn't really think anything of it, because at the time, I was kind of thinking about how the old Godzilla games were, such as Destroy All Monsters Melee and Save the Earth, how they were at the time, and me personally, they didn't really seem to be up my alley. Yes, I enjoyed those games back as a kid, but I don't know, something about it just didn't really seem to grab my interest or whatever. Now, of course, we're talking about a pretty rare game on the PlayStation 4 that now goes for about $200 online if you want to get the game complete in box. Now, granted, there are some games out there that are way more expensive than $200, but I think everyone here watching this video can certainly agree that $200 is definitely way more money than how the game originally released at its $60 price tag. Now, this is a game that, again, I will be adding to the collection at some point or another. Am I in a rush for it? Not really. But if it goes up more as I wait, oh well, that's my loss anyway. But I will say, at least with that game, at least it's for a console that I enjoy collecting for, such as the PlayStation 4. But yeah, I'll get around to it eventually. Kind of sucks that I missed out on it back in the day, but, you know, sometimes late is better than never. And now, talking about a game off of the Super Nintendo's library is Earthbound. This game is certainly known by collectors to be a pretty collectible game and a pretty expensive one at that. This game I got interest in back during the same time I had some interest for Burning Rangers. And just like Burning Rangers, this is a game that I also don't have in the collection and has also gone up quite a bit. I originally got interested in Earthbound because of Ness and Lucas in Smash Brothers, and yeah, I had interest in Earthbound back during Smash Brothers Melee on the GameCube, but it wasn't really until like 2010, 2011 was when I was like, yeah, this is a game I should add to my collection at some point or another. From what I hear, it's a pretty good RPG. I know a lot of Nintendo enthusiasts like Earthbound, and I feel like Earthbound is one of those games that you kind of get interest in just because of Smash Brothers, because after all, Earthbound is originally from the Mother series, which is not really known that well here in the States and North America, but I will say, thanks to Smash Brothers, I think it gained way more popularity than it would have if, you know, Nintendo kept things silent over with Smash Brothers and all that good stuff. But yeah, that is a game that I do plan on adding to my Super Nintendo collection at some point or another. Another title that I'm not in a rush for picking it up, but I can say it will go into the collection at some point or another. It's not really a matter of if, but a matter of when, because after all, it looks like such a good RPG. And as someone who really enjoys the Super Nintendo as well, I feel like that's a game that I should add to the collection at some point or another and pick up and play and have myself a good time. Now, the next game that I want to talk about and share right here in this video, and this one is actually pretty cheap compared to some of the other games right here in this video, and that is the Dreamcast collection for the Xbox 360. I remember when I would see this game used at GameStop for only 20 bucks, and now the game has tripled in price to $60. Thankfully, as mentioned from before, this is easily the cheapest game right here in this video. And essentially what this game is, it's a compilation disc where it includes some old school Sega Dreamcast games that you can now play on the Xbox 360. Some of these games are Sonic Adventure 1 and Crazy Taxi, and two others that I'm not really remembering right now at the moment. But I will say one thing about this title, I'm very surprised that it did not end up on the PlayStation 3, and that it's a 360 exclusive. But nevertheless, I do plan on picking it up. I guess for me personally, why I didn't really rush to pick the game up is simply because these are all games that I would prefer to also have on the Dreamcast anyway, especially since I am working on finishing a North American Sega Dreamcast set. And I will say also as well, I think this is also another one that I do need to add to the 360 collection, not only because of the games that are on there and that I enjoy collecting for 360, but also because as well, there's a bit of nostalgia that comes with it, and I am a huge fan of the Sega Dreamcast. So Dreamcast, Xbox 360, I just gotta have that title at some point. Another one that I'm not really too much in a rush for because, as mentioned from before, I'd rather work on finishing my Dreamcast set than trying to get a game that's themed off of Dreamcast games for the Xbox 360. But don't worry, the day will come. It's just a matter of when it'll happen. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it'll happen one day. Now, of course, I have to talk about these games right here, and these games are the Resident Evil remakes on the Nintendo GameCube. More specifically, I'm talking about Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3. Now, I do have the remake to Resident Evil 1 on the GameCube, and I do have Resident Evil 0, which are both great games, and I really like the GameCube remake compared to the original Resident Evil. I think Capcom did an amazing job with that remake, but Sadly, I don't have Resident Evil 2 or 3 right here in the collection. And what really bothers me, right, was I feel like I had such a great opportunity several years ago. I remember when GameStop was clearancing out all their GameCube games. And I mean, I think if I remember correctly, it was like 75% off on GameCube games. Don't quote me on that, but I do remember it was some crazy deal on GameCube games. And I was looking, and at the time, I wasn't a completionist yet, but if I had that completionist mentality, that would have been the time to scoop up as many GameCube games, to get them in the collection, and just start building up that GameCube library. But sadly, two third-party series that I noticed sold really quick at GameStop when they were having that sale were the Sonic games and the Resident Evil games. But I will say those are two other games that I definitely have to add to the collection, because after all, the Nintendo GameCube is easily one of my favorite consoles of all time. Of course, these remakes I've seen, they look pretty incredible, and I would love to have a GameCube set one day. That is one of my personal goals right here in the game room. So yeah, those games will definitely be added to the GameCube collection, right? So just gotta wait it out. But yeah, those games will be in the collection one day for sure. Hey guys, thank you so much for checking out my video. Please be sure to check out these videos here, and here. After all, I post a lot of content when it comes to game collecting tips, and other video game related subjects. So be sure to keep an eye out every Monday and Friday where I upload consistently, and I'll be seeing you guys next time.